Have you ever wondered if living creatures could exist in the atmosphere? In people's understanding, the atmosphere doesn't have the right temperature or humidity, and it also doesn't have the nutrients that living things need to survive. So how could any creature live there? But what's surprising is that, in history, there have been many reports of people seeing strange creatures related to this. It's said these things look alive, but their behavior breaks all the rules people know about living things. Their bodies seem to be half solid, often half transparent. They don't need wings to fly, and they can move freely in the air without any visible way of pushing themselves forward. Just like ghosts in stories, people call them atmospheric creatures. The most famous sighting of an atmospheric creature in modern times happened at the end of the 19th century. On the early morning of September 5th, 1891, two ice delivery workers in the small town of Crawfordsville, Indiana, USA, Marshall McIntyre and Billy Gray, were loading their wagon. Suddenly, they felt a strong sense of awe and fear. When they looked up at the night sky, they saw a scary ghost-like thing floating in the air. According to their description, this creature was over 5 meters long and more than 2 meters wide. It moved quickly in the air using several pairs of fins growing on the sides of its body. Its whole body was pure white, with no clear shape or form. It looked a bit like a huge white shroud with a machine pushing it forward. Even though it didn't have a clear head or tail, it had one huge flame-like eye, and from an invisible mouth came a moaning sound, like heavy breathing, as if it was suffering from pain that couldn't be described. This creature drifted like a flag in the wind and circled high in the sky for almost an hour. People might think that if only those first two witnesses saw the creature, it could just be a rumor they made up to become famous. But they were not the only people who saw this strange visitor in the sky that night. Not long after midnight, the respected pastor of the First Christian Church also saw this strange creature. When he walked out of the church to get water from the well, he was shocked to see a ghost-like thing swimming through the air above his head. Its movements rose and fell like a snake, which felt very creepy. He quickly woke up his wife, and the two of them watched in amazement as the creature moved through the air. While the couple watched, the mysterious ghost-like thing even came down and landed on the lawn of Lane Square, near the home of the widow of the late U.S. Senator Henry Lane. Then, it suddenly took off again and continued moving around above the town. Later, a police officer also described meeting a strange half-transparent creature while riding his bicycle. He said it smelled like mold, and when he touched it, it felt like a soft blanket rubbing against him. Soon after, the Crawfordsville Daily Journal wrote a detailed report about all these witness stories. Very quickly, newspapers across the whole country started reporting on the event. The small town in Indiana suddenly became a center of attention, and excited reporters rushed to it. The postmaster was overwhelmed with letters from everywhere, all asking for more information about this strange creature. But just like all shocking events, the public reaction was split into two sides. Some people believed the creature was a supernatural sign, warning of upcoming bad luck or good fortune. Others were doubtful and thought the witnesses were just drunk or imagining things. Some reporters even guessed that this creature might be a sign that the end of the world was coming. As the discussion about the Crawfordsville monster grew more heated, two local men, John Hornbeck and Abe Hernley, decided to uncover the truth behind the sightings. They began to track the creature, wanting to bravely end the mystery. They followed the creature's flight path through the town, looked into every clue they could find, and talked to all the witnesses. Finally, they were able to catch up to the creature. Its flight path rose and fell, and several times it almost touched the ground. At last, the monster came down from the sky and got close to the ground near them. That was when they finally saw the creature's real face. The monster was not something supernatural, and it was not some unknown species. It was actually a large group of birds called nighthawks. In the end, the Crawfordsville Review suggested that the town's newly installed electric lights might have confused the birds, making their behavior strange. The birds' white bellies, combined with the wet night air, created an illusion for the townspeople, making it look like a huge, shapeless creature floating in the sky. Even though this discovery explained the truth and ended all the legends about the Crawfordsville monster, unfortunately, the explanation did not spread as far. The Crawfordsville Daily Journal's original monster story had already become too famous, so very few people paid attention to the report that solved the mystery. Also, these first reports were seen by a famous investigator of mysterious events named Charles Fort. He especially liked collecting strange and unexplained stories, so he included this story in a book he published in 1931 about these kinds of topics. He believed that this monster might be a typical example of the life forms he said could live inside the atmosphere above us. In his theory, these were beings that lived high above our heads in the air, and most of them could not be seen or known by humans. This idea later became part of early UFO theories. Fort's book was very popular with readers after it was published. Because of this, many best-selling authors later copied these stories from his book without carefully checking the truth that came out afterward. So the story of the Crawfordsville monster kept spreading and made people more interested and excited about atmospheric creatures. On August 7, 1994, at around 3 a.m., a strange rainstorm hit the town of Oakville in Washington state. Unlike normal rain, this rain fell as gel-like blobs. Police officer David Lacey was driving with a friend on patrol. When he turned on his car's windshield wipers, he found that the rain stuck to the glass like Vaseline and was very hard to remove. They had to stop at a gas station to clean the windshield. For safety, Lacey put on gloves and picked up some of the material from the glass. He found that it was pasty and very sticky. Another local resident named Dottie Hearn noticed that after the rain stopped, her yard was covered with strange gel-like blobs. At first, she thought it was hail, but when she looked closely, she realized it was something much stranger. These blobs were about 1 centimeter big, and they could be squished with a finger. They had no color and no smell. In the next 3 weeks, more gel-like blob rain was reported in Oakville and nearby areas. And after these blobs appeared, several members of the Oakville community said they became very sick. Local residents also said that almost everyone in town got sick because of this event, and it took them a few weeks to recover. The most surprising thing was that after hospital testing, the substance was found to contain human white blood cells, but doctors could not figure out what it was or where it came from. In the weeks after people touched the gel blobs, many cats, dogs, and other farm animals in the area died because of stomach or breathing problems. The local hospital sent the substance to the Washington State Department of Health for more testing. There, a microbiologist named Mike McDowell found the sample was full of bacteria, including some bacteria that are normally found in the human digestive system. This event led to many different theories. Some people suggested that when atmospheric creatures die, their bodies break apart and fall to the ground like gel-like rain, forming strange holes or patches on the planet. Some local residents believed the substance was man-made, possibly a secret weapon the US military was developing for biological warfare. Others thought the blobs might be human waste that fell from airplanes, or pieces of jellyfish that were blown apart during US Navy military exercises in the ocean and then fell back to the ground as rain. Later, it was confirmed that at the same time as the gel rain happened, the military had been using explosives in ocean training exercises near Oakville, so this possibility was not unreasonable. Besides the atmospheric creature mentioned earlier, there is another type of atmospheric life form known as the atmospheric jellyfish. So far, hundreds of people around the world have seen this unexplained phenomenon, including top meteorologists, soldiers at military bases, and city residents. These sightings also caused people to wonder what these things really are. According to NASA, these creatures might actually be pieces of spacecraft debris reflecting the northern lights. Since the middle of the 20th century, these mysterious creatures have been seen many times and have been widely discussed by both the media and the scientific community. It is one of the few UFO phenomena that is accepted and studied by scientists, and it has always appeared in newspaper headlines. One of the most famous cases is the flying jellyfish incident in Qing County on October 19, 1998. It was published in the Hebei Daily that year and even caught the attention of the military. If you are interested, you can look it up yourself. Because of this, some researchers believe that the atmospheric creature theory can help explain some UFO events. For example, the famous writer on mysterious creatures, Ivan Sanderson, wrote in his book Uninvited Guests that many UFOs are actually extremely low-density animals that were originally born in the clouds. US astronaut Story Musgrave once appeared as a guest astronaut at the 770th World Science Fiction Convention. He said that during 2 of his space missions, he saw a creature that looked very much like a snake, about 7 to 8 feet long. Musgrave said its body was springy and stretchy because it had a structure inside. He said this creature followed their spacecraft for quite a long time. In 1995, during an interview for a space documentary about sightings, Musgrave also spoke about his encounter. This made NASA officials angry at the time and surprised his co-workers because he had never officially reported this after returning to Earth. In the interview, Musgrave even shared a video he filmed. The video shows something floating in space that looks like a snake, like a 7-foot-long eel swimming. It moved freely in zero gravity and had something inside it, making it look like it was swimming. What exactly did Musgrave see? Even today, there is still no reasonable explanation. But many people guess that Musgrave's experience might prove one thing, that the so-called atmospheric creatures might actually be life forms from outer space. They may come to Earth for different reasons, hiding in Earth's atmosphere and watching everything we do. This idea is similar to the Japanese monster show Space Giant Monster Dogaga. In the show, a jellyfish-like monster from space comes to Earth to look for carbon, hides in the atmosphere, and causes fear among humans. Even today, we still do not have a satisfying answer about what atmospheric creatures really are. But without a doubt, if the mystery of atmospheric creatures is ever officially confirmed, it will completely change the way we understand life. Alright, that's all for this video. If you like this series, please give it a like to support me. See you next time.